Denisovans are our mysterious ancestor cousins. We know about Neanderthals, but Denisovans are new to science since about the late 2000s. In the last few years, we found a handful of bone fragments with DNA and protein evidence that revealed that these group of hominins or ancient human cousins were a whole new subspecies of human different from Homo sapiens, different from Homo neanderthalensis, which is Neanderthals, and were a whole group unto their own. They interbred with humans just like Neanderthals did before they were wiped out, just like Neanderthals were. We humans have about 5% of Denisovan DNA in our Asian and Aboriginal Australian populations. Their remains were discovered for the first time in 2008-2010 in the Denisova caves in Siberia, hence their name. They diverged from Homo sapiens or modern human ancestors nearly about 1 million years ago. Now, there are new findings, and we are at the cusp of understanding how Denisovans lived and what they did and where. Also, because of this, we are closer to understanding where they fit on the human classification tree. See, there are only a handful of fossils, like one finger bone or one piece of a partial jawbone or like 4 teeth that belong to Denisovans. And these were found mainly in Siberia and this particular cave in China that we're going to talk about. But these Denisovans had mated with people who were in the Australian and Asian islands. How did their DNA spread so far and wide? And why have we not discovered other fossils yet in Asia? We have a lot of such questions, and now new findings show that these Denisovans were expertly lounging about in Tibet just about 30,000 years ago, which is far, far later than we ever thought they existed. And the findings from this study show that they thrived in diverse environments and were experts at adapting to changing circumstances. A team led by University of Copenhagen analyzed a number of tiny animal bones in the Baishiya karst cave in China. This is only one of 2 caves where Denisovan remains have been found, the other being the Denisova cave. This cave was discovered in 2019, almost 20 years after the discovery of the other cave, and it is the only other known Denisovan settlement cave. Here's where jawbone and teeth fossils were discovered earlier. For this study, scientists looked at all of these bone remains that belonged to other animals, and they had to be analyzed for DNA and protein to identify them. Turned out these were the bones of animals like hyena, golden eagles, and smaller animals, rodents like marmots, and larger animals like yak, and even predators like wolves. There were also foxes, horses, and even gazelle. These bones had marks on them that were made. They showed that there had been human activity. These animals were either hunted and killed for food, and their bones were probably used for something else too. The smaller ones were definitely mainly used for food and eating. So these Denisovans were actually hunting and cooking and eating at this high altitude cave in Tibet. But the findings don't really stop just there. The team actually discovered a piece of a rib which turned out to be Denisovan. So they actually got a brand new piece of fossil. Since we have only a handful, this find is very precious. Protein and amino acid analysis showed that this individual was closely related to the Siberian Denisovans. DNA has been difficult to get from this. Interestingly, this piece of rib bone was dated to about 48,000 years ago to 32,000 years ago, which puts it well within the timeline of these Denisovans encountering early Homo sapiens in East Asia and mating with them. A scan of the cave through protein and amino acid analysis revealed that Denisovans had been the only hominin or human subspecies to settle in the cave, and so they actually occupied a sort of evolutionary niche in this geographical area, thriving there. All these findings shed a new light on Denisovans and how they lived and how close they approached Asia and how they did that. These findings were also from before the pandemic, and the team is now back there to dig for more fossils and evidence. It is very interesting to learn about human and human ancestors because, of course, it first directly answers the question of how we came to be here. But these findings are crucial for many reasons. Within the field, each Denisovan discovery offers a major break with huge amounts of information and solutions and answers to existing questions, or just taking them one step further to the solution. This bone fragment, for example, will be compared with another one, which was found in Laos a few years ago, which still hasn't yet confirmed to be Denisovan. Furthermore, these findings give answers to when these Denisovans mated with our ancestors and had their DNA mix with ours, and what benefits that these DNA bits provide. A lot of it will have to do with immune system protection as well, as we know from Neanderthal DNA in our bodies.